So in this session we are going to study about object orientation in Python. And when we talk about object orientation, we talk about the classes and the objects. So first we should understand what is a class and what is an object. So if we look at this diagram, a class is like a blueprint for the objects. So let us say we have a class student. So how we model every student is like every student will have a name and every student will also have a roll number. The values for the roll number and name will differ from one student to another student, or in our case we'll say that the values for the objects will differ. For example, the first object in red entity can say that my name is Seema and roll number is 22. So the value for name and roll number is like Seema and 22. Another object in blue can have name as Ranu and roll number is 53. And third object in yellow can have name as Varun and roll number is 33, and so on and so forth. So we can instantiate any number of objects of this class which will have different values for roll number and name. But what is assured is that each of these objects certainly has a roll number and each of these objects certainly has a name. So another way of representing class or defining class is that a class is a collection of objects of similar type. Now if we look at all these objects, they are of similar type because the way we have modeled them, we are saying that each of these objects is having a roll number and each of these objects is having a name. Now to define the object is basically an instance of a class. So in class we are just saying that a student is a class which has roll number and name as the attributes, but the physical entity, the real entity or the instance of this class is the object which has values for these attributes. So if we look at the class now, a class has two kinds of scope. There are some variables which are at the class level, and then there can be variables which are at the object level or the instance level. Now the class variables are basically the property of class, and whatever is the property of class by default is available to all the objects. So the class variable can be modified or can be accessed by any object, and the instance variables are differing from one object to another. So what we aim to understand here in Python is that how to define a class, how to write the class variables, how to write the instance variables, and how to define the methods on these objects. Once we understand all this, we'll be able to reach closer to our goal of understanding that everything in Python is an object. This is a truly object oriented programming, and this discussion will help us to explore the real principle behind the language. So in further session, we'll discuss about defining the class and the variables and the objects and so on and so forth. Thank you.